Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrow with the week ahead report, and it's beginning week, the 14th of March 2011. Obviously, big concerns at the moment with what is happening in Japan. The key will be as to how the Japanese market opens today, and also how that will affect how commodities will trade as well, to the extent, obviously, with concerns on the nuclear power stations. Just so you're aware, probably about 30% of power is generated by the nuclear power. Of that, we think probably 1/5 will be down, and if 1/5 is out, then they're going to look for other technologies. What we could probably see is probably an uptick in the lighter sulfur crude, also a very high uptick in LNG, and also the heavier crudes, particularly as Japan is oil dependent. In fact, Japan is about 85% dependent on its energy imports, so next to about 4.36 million barrels a day. So this could be could support prices in the crude, even in the wake of what we saw in Libya, where the day of rage, particularly in the Gulf region, didn't produce too much, which was quite good, and as a result of that, crude came under pressure. So if anything there, I think that we could say that it's contained the situation in the Gulf. Let's see what happens in Japan to see where that'll price support. But if anything there, a break below 100 on crude could see a much faster correction to the downside. Okay. Let's now get on to just a bit of an overview as to what happened last night, just so we can get ourselves back into the groove of things. U.S. equity markets were quite good. In fact, they actually, and we'll just get back onto that, they actually closed up 59 points for the Dow, and S&P was up 9, and the Nasdaq was up 14. Although closer over to Europe, it was a completely different story there, where we did in fact see prices under pressure. The top 50 was down 25, the FTSE down 16, the CAC was down 35, and the DAX was down 81. Close to home, we were actually up 8 at 4,639. So that in itself was, I think, relatively positive. Okay, let's have a look at just a few of the commodities. Obviously, the dollar index is a key. Dollar in itself found this low here, and we had a good rally. We have since come off from that high. That high we had was around 77.55. Let's see what does occur. But as long as it stays above this trend line we've talked about, then I'm quite comfortable that things will start to trade higher from there. Looking at gold, gold 114.18. Look, it's up here, been up here about 3 or 4 times, and it fails each time. This does look, however, constructive. But I think if we take out 1410, then expect a little bit of correction, and then 1400 is the key for that. Looking at the Aussie, 101.45, very volatile at the top side. Very hard to tell here. It's broken both sides of this ascending wedge, and we're right on the top. So Friday's price action was very wild, and probably expect that to occur again. But still very hard to decide. But that technicals do suggest to the top side. But I got to be guided by a break below 99.50, which was a low on Friday night. Okay, just having a look at the crude price, 158. That's certainly back quite a bit, and probably expect those losses to extend. Expect those losses to extend if the situation in the Middle East stays the same. Let's see what happens in Japan at the moment. But I think given where we're given, Middle East seems to be placated. China's slowing down a little bit. You can start to see that there is room for a correction in the price of crude. Let's basically see what economic numbers we have this week that'll help that to occur. Before we do that, let's have a quick look at the SPY, 46.39, obviously quite a large correction. We seem to be pretty much linked to what's happening in China at the moment, but we have come very good support. That low we've got there at 45.80, that is a very good support area, as you can see here in the chart. Quite a lot of good areas of support back in October and also in late November. So we might see it actually hold there, but let's see the fallout as to what happens to the equity markets. What happens in the equity markets as a result of what's happening in Japan. Just so you know, the Bank of Japan has actually put out a lot of short-term funding to help any concern if they in fact arise. Okay, so let's have a look at the week ahead in terms of economic numbers, and we'll just go here. Now, when you look at what's happening on Monday, I'll run through that quickly. On Monday, we've got Industrial production in Japan, obviously what's happening over there, those numbers won't mean too much, but it would help conclude that the economy is on a sure footing, and really that's probably about it except for the Eurozone industrial production. Tuesday, new motor vehicle registrations in Australia, Eurozone employment, we've got Empire manufacturing in the States and TICS data. I think Wednesday is when all the good data in the US starts. And in the States, we've got housing starts, permits, producer prices. They're going to be very key because that'll obviously give us a little bit of lead as to what happens on Thursday. Thursday night's the big bill-in for this week, and we do have in the States CPI. Market's expected to show relatively unchanged, 0.4% month-on-month in the year, around about 1.6. And initial jobless claims, IP, capacity utilisation, and leading indicators. All these numbers are expected to be upbeat. The market is certainly looking for those upbeat numbers. The question is whether you believe that their firmness is on the back of stimulus packages or their firmness is on the back of the actual economy moving higher. Remember, they don't reflect the last month's worth of high energy prices, so that's something which we will have to discount in the numbers going forward. And then just moving on to Friday, we've got basically not too much. Quite a bit of data there in Canada and also in Germany. We've got some election rallying going on there. Okay, well that's pretty much about it for the week ahead report. Obviously, big billing will be Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday night will be the key, so just keep close to it. Any trades we're looking at the moment, if anything, we've been long the grains for a while, but the weather concerns sort of put that around. They've actually seen the grains come under quite a bit of pressure, but we're getting close to a low there somewhere along the line, so just be cautionary about that. We still like it because we think the weather is still going to be a major issue this year. Oil, still a little bit flat at the moment. Let's see what Japan happens. Copper, trade on low. Could find a little bit of a low here. 405, 410 is where I actually like it. So let's see what happens from there. But really, that's about it for the week ahead report. Hope everyone has a good day and good luck today, and we'll certainly talk to you later. Bye for now.